Good morning. It's Bobby Dupre with the Bobby Dupre Show, presented to you each Thursday morning at 7 a.m. And of course, many of you are watching it on your television, others are watching it on your computer, and others are doing like you have for the past, well, we're working on 36 years of KSLO, 1230 a.m. on your dial, and 105.3, the sister company out of Simmsport, Louisiana. And my sidekick here, Andrew.
Well, good morning, Chief.
You doing okay this morning?
I'm doing fantastic.
And anything new on, well, we have a picture to show. Can you get to that picture? It'll take a little while.
What's that picture?
That picture is the signing of the sale documents.
I can do that. Let's go
you
to
can find
this
it.
one.
There
right
you
here.
go, that picture right there. How about you? Well, yeah, he's got it. It's on television. Last Thursday, which would have been the 1st of March, the official signing of the documents took place on the sale of the station here, KDCG, and the purchases are what they're on the left of the screen here. All the way on the left is Mr. Eddie Blanchard, and next to him is his partner, and that's Charles Shotterland. Charles is well known in the Lafayette, Carencro area. Delta Media is a well-known media company who purchased KSLO. I guess that's going on a couple of years now.
3 or 4, I guess.
Yeah, time moves right along, and they felt that our TV station would fit in good with their growth plans, and they have other television stations, and we'll talk about those as we go along later on when we find out more about it. But we're just interested, and we're just interested in the fact that you and I will be able to continue doing the Bobby Dupre Show.
That's one of the things that they were very specific about, is that they wanted to have the show to continue.
And we want to have it, so everything should be right along. We're going to keep the station properties open over here, and we already have, I know, one young lady with KSLO in the sales department, Lindsay, who's working out of this office, and hopefully some of that production, which they're not really getting to very much like Johnny Wright used to, get people to come in and give them a little synopsis of what's going to be taking place next Saturday at such and such a time and such and such a place, like we do here, public service announcements. And some of those will take place here in this building, from this building. So
yes, sir.
Let's get right on into the program.
We can do it. How about welcoming a new sponsor?
Yes, sir.
Targill. Targill Seasonings and Butcher Supply. You can find out information about them at targill.com. And of course, you and I know them over on 229 Wartell Avenue here in Annapolis. You can get spices, casings for your sausage. You can get containers, cutlery, paper products, tape, plastic labels, all your kitchen supplies and market supplies, cleaning supplies, and cake supplies. Been around over 25 years, and of course, the Bellard family bought into it. Our good friend
Ted Bellard manages that particular division of the Bellard family companies,
right,
and has really taken it to another level. He packages, I guess is the proper word, because he's not bottling yet. I'm sure at some point he will be doing some bottling, but at the present time he's packaging, and like Slap Your Mama products and many other products that are given out, like Barry Mitchell with
you can contact
Southern
them.
General
if
Agency.
You've got your own seasoning mix, they'll help put it together for you and package it.
Imperial
and
Fine
it for
Casualty.
Do that on.
And they do theirs, and they use the seasoning that was concocted by Champagne Marche over in Leonville, Richard and Angela Champagne's mixture. And if you want to reorder from theirs, it has a method of how you get in touch. So Targill reaches a lot of folks out there, and very growing young, we're going to say a young company, but growing very well.
How about one more sponsor before we go too far? How about...
Thanks, Ted, for joining the sponsor list.
Exactly. And Benny's Supermarket over here in town, if you want to go by, get you some groceries right here downtown Annapolis on South Union. Benny's has got everything you need, from produce to good fresh meats that are already seasoned, stuffed roasts. The produce section, second to none. They win best of the best every year in the local voting thing that goes on. And you can get 7 days a week in the deli. You can get good home-style cooking. And during Lent, they've got fish on Wednesdays and Fridays for you as as well to do your Lenten fast if you like. And they've got a brew house in the back with all the imported beers. I think it's 80 different flavors of imported beer. Miss Mary's gift shop, because springtime, you're buying stuff for graduates, you're buying stuff for Easter. And Little Benny Sports Shack for your nutritional supplemental needs inside. If you're a workout guy, you want to take vitamins, or if you want to get some smoothies to tide you over, they've got all that with Benny's.
A couple of obituaries, a couple of people that died recently, and one happened to be a cousin of mine, and I was out of town, of course, for the retreat, left out Thursday, and came back Sunday, and of course, I'm speaking of Teresa, and better known around Acadiana as Tessie Fontenot Lalonde. Her daddy was Mr. Caro. He was the chief of police there in Washington for years, and her mama was Viv. And those two people played a big part in taking care of my grandmother when she was living in Washington in the little bitty house next to their big house. And of course, Tessie was, I see, 76 years old, and her husband preceded her in death, and I'm speaking of Charles Lalonde, better known as Cooney. That's what everybody knew him around the area. And she also had a son, Byron, and her daughters, Darlene and Vicky Thibodeau. And Vicky, of course, I got to knowing her well through her work, her volunteer work over at Immaculate Conception Church, along with, of course, her mama, Tessie, all the time did what she could. And a local person who died, and I was able to attend you might get that picture ready, the wake yesterday, and the funeral took place shortly after the wake. And I'm speaking of Curtis Leger. We called him when we were young Red, and the family later on started calling him Bubba. And he was age 77. We all grew up in the little town of Opelousas. His wife, and of course she's surviving him, Shirley Wilson Leger, and of course her nickname, and one of her, I'm not sure if it was a child of hers or I think it was a grandchild of hers, walked up about the same time I was offering my sympathies to Shirley, and she says, Bobby, why don't you tell them what you call me? And I said, well, there's only one name I know you by, and that's Hook Wilson. And she was a good basketball player, and she was a left-handed.
Hook shot.
And she make that hook shot. And back in those days, the defense against that left-handed hook.
That's hard to do even tonight. Nowadays, there aren't many people that shoot the hook shot anymore.
So anyhow, our friendship and all goes way, way back. So our deepest of sympathies. And you want to get into a couple of other events there? I've taken care of a couple of them.
How about this? We've got on March 15th, that's next Thursday, the St. Joseph's altar over at Our Lady of Mercy Church Hall is going to be going on. A lot of people in the Italian community remember it. If you've been around the Italian community during Lent, it's Thursday, March 15th, 5:30 p.m. There's going to be a rosary and the blessing, and then on Friday, from the morning at 8 o'clock until noontime, they'll have the lunch. And also a tupa tupa. I don't know if you remember all that when you see some of the old Italian prayers. Go by, you can call Miss Priscilla at 942-4174. That's Miss Priscilla Stanberry.
Stanberry, she's still out there trying to promote it. And that was a real big event. When I was a youngster, there were a number of Italian families. There aren't too many of them left. But a person that works over at Sabia Funeral Home, Frank Cuscio, he moved here from the Carencro area, and the first thing he noticed was all of the Italian families, and I kind of gave him a history of all of them, and he says, boy, I feel at home here. He says there were literally no Italian families in the little area of Carencro where he lived, and kind of strange, because we all the little small merchants back in those days had an Italian family connection, some kind of way.
You follow up the Chafla River, you find all those Italian families
and
all
the
the
Mississippi
way
River is the same thing.
Yep.
They settled along the rivers, but our deepest sympathies.
We got the Lilly Scholarship coming up, Charles and Antonia Lilly Memorial Scholarship for St. Larry Parish High School seniors. It's a $1,000 scholarship given by Knights of Columbus Council 1183 and donated by the Lilly family. Your deadline to apply is April 30th. Call Ken Thibodeau, 942-2736.
you know, as you get a little older and you start losing friends like Curtis Leger, you know, our age, roughly our age, it was nice to see. I saw 3 of my former classmates at Opelousas High School. We graduated together, and I'm speaking of Dickie Sudduth and Buster Mistrick. And then the next day, I saw Butch and Kay Lazaro. We all of us graduated together, and then Booty Boanni was with Butch and Kay, and he graduated like a year ahead of us. So lots of friendship there, and it's nice to see, and all of us are in pretty good health, so we're very fortunate.
Let's show this picture. I just realized which picture he was asking me to find. I got it. You were talking about the funeral earlier.
Yeah,
we got a picture of the honor guard.
Of Curtis Leger, who was a military veteran.
And the honor guard gets together there with the American Legion, and they show up in nice outfits and all, in uniform. That's the group out of Port Barry. Mr. Dowden, I notice on the left, and over on the right, I see Herlin Dupre. I want to thank them for going out and doing this.
And Floyd Stelly and another individual,
right.
They were inside the church, so I didn't get them. This was
Donald
taken.
Andrus usually involved.
This I was able to take this with my cell phone.
There you go. You need to be a pro.
Well, you can't miss those good opportunities.
How about Carl's Thrifty Way? If you're looking for medicine needs, maybe you're like me, you're getting that little bit of a cough with all that pollen in the air. You just need a little bit of cough medicine to kind of clear up that chest and get that decongestion going. You can get the over-the-counter stuff. They've got all that for you. Maybe you need your prescription at this time of the year to ward away that heavy cough. Go by and Carl's can do that for you. They can get you the compounded medicines where they take 2 or 3 different things that maybe you have to take and make it easier for you to take in one nice, neat bottle. They've also got home decorating ideas. They've got gifts, gift wrapping, and monogram services available as well. Carl's Thrifty Way. And one more, Dixie Storage, all your storage needs, personal and commercial. They've got big units to put your RV in. They got little bitty units to put just a handful of things from around your house. If you got to have railroad spur access to offload and onload things to railroad. Maybe you need a whole warehouse. They've got that with forklifts. They can do inventory control for you. They've got Dixie One Trucking that can handle stuff between the different warehouses. They've got A-Plus Glass, their sister company with locations in Opelousas and in Lafayette. They can do all your glass needs, from personal, windshields, windshield inspections, 18-wheelers, commercial glass, whatever you need. They got it, Dixie Storage.
Okay, I'm working on my closing.
Already? You getting ahead?
Well, I'm
in case you get behind.
Lately, you've been kind of fussing at me. I'm kind of running late.
That's all right.
So I'm trying to make sure that I get it on time.
KSLO, we're going to see you guys on the other side of 3.
And in the recent, the present Elks magazine, the March issue, very good subject matter on the Declaration of Independence, facts and little known facts, and very, very interesting. So those of you that are Elks, you might want to read it and pass it on to some of your friends. Very, very interesting. And we seem to, kind of forget some of the items that make up our Declaration of Independence. And of course, with a national election going on, they talk about the Constitution and everything.
Very good. Yeah, it's always very much patriotic. This Friday at the Delta Grand, Barry Primo is going to be there, who does the magic up close and all kind of entertainment. But they're also going to have State Trooper Lazard here to talk about bike safety and stranger danger. It's all about helping your kids from 5 years old to 10 years old. This Friday, drop your kids off at 5 p.m., pick them up at 9 p.m. So it gives you time. You can go get a sandwich while the kids all learn from the state troopers and all. Contact the Delta Grand Theater, 407-1806. Miss Tammy Lamonte.
We talked about my longtime friend, Mr. Johnny Raymond, last week, and I had called for him to get an update, but we didn't get to talk with him. But last Thursday, when I was driving into the retreat house, he returned the call. And I mean, he was just as upbeat. He sounded like probably a 22, 23-year-old lieutenant getting his first bar. I mean, that's how.
And he was a lieutenant colonel, so you got to be an upbeat guy to lead men.
You better believe it. And he did a fantastic job when he was in the military and has never let up.
I think he was, a ranger, I think?
A ranger. And in fact, that's where he went to Asia and trained their troops on